What is going on, y'all? It is the Caveman back at it again with another video. Today I'm going to do my post-draft power rankings. I see a lot of people doing them as of late, and I decided why not give my list and I'll give you a breakdown. So that's exactly what I'm here to do today. But before I get into it, you guys know the drill around here. Mott's applesauce, if you're ever hungry, thirsty, whatever it might be, Mott's applesauce will satisfy whatever satisfy you with the Caveman guarantee. I promise it will never fail you. I need to get these MFers to acknowledge me on Twitter one way or another. Alright, so I think a post-draft power rankings list is pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to start with 21 through 32, then I'm going to do 11 through 20, and then I'm going to do 1 through 10. Tried my best to make this list using a combination of 3 different things: their last year's success, the offseason that they've had, and the future predictions that I have going into 2022. I definitely plan on highlighting a couple teams along the way as well. Well, let's not waste any more time and kick it off with 21 through 32. Your usual suspects you're going to find down at the bottom of this list. I don't think a lot of people have much variation when it comes to this portion of it. Almost every single team in 21 through 32 is considered bad to some extent, but the difference is there are some teams in this category in which are on the upswing and have a bright future, and some other teams that are on the complete downswing, heading in probably what you would call the wrong direction. You got teams here like the Jets and the Lions who both had great draft classes, and then I'd even throw the Giants in there as well. They had a very solid draft in 2022, and they had a big management turnover, so I think they're on the up and up. And then you got your Falcons and your Seahawks who are going through a full-blown rebuild, and then the Chicago Bears, I don't know what they're doing. They should be going up right now, but I think they're trending in the wrong direction. They just had a management turnover as well, but they had a very piss-poor draft class. Justin Fields has no help around him. The crazy part is, out of all the teams in 21 through 32, the Bears are one of the few that actually have the luxury of knowing what their quarterback situation looks like. A lot of these teams have unproven talent or maybe bridge quarterbacks where they have Justin Fields, a young talent that has a lot of promise in this league. For some reason, even with that going for them, it doesn't seem like they know what the hell is going on. Anyway, let's move on from the garbage teams at the bottom. Let's get into 11 through 20. This is where things are going to get a little bit interesting. Similar to 21 through 32, there are teams in 11 through 20 that are certainly heading in the right direction, and other teams that are certainly heading in the wrong direction. Teams here that I think are heading in the wrong direction are the Cowboys, the Titans, the Dolphins, and the Vikings, and I have very fair reasons why. Trust me, I know it might sound slightly controversial. As far as the Cowboys go, they set themselves back with that massive Zeke contract, and now they're sitting here with a team that just finished last season on a very, very poor note, had an awful offseason, losing a lot of key names, and even though they're in the NFC, which is the weaker conference, and they're in the NFC East, which is known to be the weakest conference in football, there are teams around them gearing up that are going to give them a hard time going to 2022, and I don't think they're very prepared for it, if I'm being honest. Then we got the Titans. Of course, they still have Derrick Henry, but I think trading A.J. Brown was the dagger into any hope that they had going into 2022. This conference is way too competitive to be trading away your best players. In my opinion, Ryan Tannehill is a bordering top 10 quarterback in this league as long as A.J. Brown is on his field. The world of difference that A.J. Brown made for Ryan Tannehill is pretty substantial, and now that he's gone and he's never going to have him, I think Ryan Tannehill is going to look pretty pedestrian this year, even with Derrick Henry. I know these last two teams that I just mentioned might surprise you. The Dolphins I consider going in the wrong direction. I understand they're putting a lot of weapons around Tua. I just think they're gearing up at the wrong time. They traded a king's ransom for Tyreek Hill, and at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to make a difference for them. And paying all these big bucks and signing all these big free agents, I mean, I just think they're setting themselves back a shit ton because of the conference that they play. And if this was any other year, I think the Dolphins would be a pretty scary team right now. But even with all these additions, I just think this was the wrong time to try and do what they are doing, and it's all going to be for nothing at the end of the day, and I think they'd be extremely lucky to see a playoff spot. And then as far as the Vikings go, I cannot believe they extended Kirk Cousins the way they did. Like, I get they play in the NFC, but I hear the same shit about this damn franchise every single season. We made a bunch of offseason acquisitions. We've got one of the best offensive casts in football. We're going to be healthy this year. We're actually going to make some noise. Blah, 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 and it's the same thing. They fall flat on their face and they're mediocre every single time. Now, this offseason, the big thing for them is that they had a management turnover, so I don't think they're going to be different. I don't buy it, man. I don't think these are going to be different for the Minnesota Vikings, and I don't think they should have extended Kirk Cousins. I don't think they should have been blowing it up, but I think extending Kirk Cousins even longer, I think that's just a mistake. They need to be bringing in a younger kid that's going to be able to take his spot in just a couple of years from now, but they're going to ride it out with Captain Kirk, I guess. And then we got, of course, the teams that I think are going in the right direction, which I would consider to be the Indianapolis Colts, the Denver Broncos, Philadelphia Eagles as well, trading for A.J. Brown. That puts them in playoff contention in that conference for sure. But a team I do want to quickly touch on would be the New Orleans Saints. I know they might be a little bit high for some people's liking, but I mean, why shouldn't they be where they are? They finished 9-8 last year, and they had a combination of Taysom Hill, Trevor Siemian, and Ian Book starting games for them once Jameis Winston went down, and they still finished 9-8. Understandably, Sean Payton's not there anymore, but they are still a solid franchise. And in this week of a conference, I do think out of all teams that have a chance of making some noise, it is the New Orleans Orleans Saints, and their biggest threat being the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they have figured out. So watch out for the New Orleans Saints. I do think they have a very good chance of landing a playoff spot, and who knows, maybe they sneak away with the NFC South if they get lucky. And then moving on, we got the top 10, right? I mean, I don't think there should be really any argument against any of these teams being in the top 10. I could see some people throwing the Broncos in there, but I'm just not too sold on them at the moment yet. I know I'm kind of reverting back into 11 through 20, but I do think the Denver Broncos are going to be sniffing the top 10 after the season. I just think this year is going to be the year that they all get on the same page, and then going forward, they're going to see some better years. Anyways, going back to the top 10, all 10 of these teams have 2 of 3 things: an established proven quarterback, a proven past, or a bright future. And most of these teams have all 3. Some of them have just 2, but still, they all are going to be good in 2022. I'm not being biased by having the Bills at the top. I think they have the perfect combination of an elite quarterback, past success, and a very bright future. Ahead of them, they added Von Miller. Of course, we had the great year last year. Josh Allen went berserk. We lost in 13 seconds against the Chiefs. But still, I mean, it's hard to say we aren't the best team in football right now. Had the Rams remained with the same roster, I'd be putting them at number 1. But of course, they had to go through a lot of different changes because they were on that one-year wonder train. The Browns, if Deshaun Watson doesn't miss a substantial amount of the season, I mean, it's hard to put them anywhere else. They really have the most well-rounded roster. And if Deshaun Watson comes back, doesn't miss a ton of time, and plays like he was playing back in 2019, I mean, that's going to be a scary freaking team. I know some people might not like that I have the Chargers in the top 5 because they don't think they have enough past success to be ranked this high, but I think they just have way too much talent on that team to be ranking them any lower. The defensive side of the ball was what was dragging them down, but now, I mean, my God, J.C. Jackson, Asante Samuel going to his second year, Khalil Mack, you got Derwin James if he could stay healthy, and that was the side of the ball that was really dragging this team down, and they went out and they beefed it up. It's hard to say that this team isn't top 5 right now. The Packers and the Chiefs are pretty much only where they are because of their quarterbacks. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes weren't quarterbacking these respective teams, I think they lack talent when it compares to the rest of the teams in the top 10. For the Bengals, they have one of, if not the best offensive cast in all of football, and beefing up that offensive line only makes it that much better. We'll see if they can sniff any sort of success that they had in 2021. Kind of think not, but that's a conversation for another day. Then we got the Raiders at 9, and I'm very excited to see what the Raiders do in 2022. They have given Derek Carr the best team that he's had in his entire career without question. So if he's able to go out there and play some solid football, like I know he can, this team can easily be top 5 if they play consistently. And then the Ravens at 10, I know a lot of people might be raising an eyebrow at that. Why don't I have the Broncos at 10? Why do I have the Ravens? Well, the Ravens going 8-9, even though they had that great start and then fell off a cliff in the second half of the season. I mean, they still had an impressive year, in my opinion, right? They had third stringers playing at probably 2/3 of the positions on the field. And that would include the quarterback position. They were not healthy whatsoever, yet they were taking games down to the wire consistently against some of the best. I mean, they brought the Green Bay Packers down to the very last second. Had some of those games down to the last couple plays gone in their favor, they easily could have been in a playoff spot and finished with a better record than 8-9, but their luck started to run out, and I mean, they just played so well for having third stringers all over the place. It's hard not to put them in the top 10 once they're healthy. Not to mention, despite the fact that they did not replace Marquise Brown, I thought they had the best draft out of any team in 2022, so they also have that going for them. So yeah, that'll wrap it up. My post-draft power rankings for the NFL going into 2022. I'm very excited to continue this series once the year begins. Tell your thoughts down in the comment section below. Who do I have too high? Who do I have too low? Leave any thoughts you have down below. As always, if you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff. If you want to hit the bell to be notified when I upload, I'd appreciate that. You want to go over to Twitter, follow me over there. I'd appreciate that as well. I have a TikTok down in my description that I think you should check out, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.